Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. I want to welcome you to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. I am so delighted to have you today because we have a very special guest with us. We have Miss Rosie Mangiarotti, who is an entrepreneur. She has designed this new product for women called Perkies, and her product is helping women everywhere. I cannot wait to talk to her about her story, why she started this company, and how she is helping women all over the place. So, thank you for being here with us today. And I want to thank you, Rosie, for being here with us today as well.
Thank you, Melissa, for having me. I'm honored to be on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always love talking to fellow female entrepreneurs because I own my own business too, and I understand how difficult it can be. There's a lot of work and sometimes slow startup. So I really, really love talking to fellow entrepreneurs just to hear your story and why you started this and how you're really helping. You're shaping, the business world by being another female entrepreneur. So I love that.
Yes. So I've always been an ideas person. My friends have always made fun of me. As a young kid, whenever I saw a problem, instead of listing the problem, I would always say, they should invent this, they should invent that, just to combat the problem at hand. So I was in the product. So Perkies is created around this idea of creating a better stick-on bra. And for those unfamiliar with what those are, they're backless and strapless bras, and the inner shells are painted with adhesive. And they're meant for backless and strapless outfits. But unfortunately, after you wear them a few times, they begin to lose adhesion and they get really dirty and gross and rendered useless after a couple wears. And they're expensive to replace and just like a very unsustainable, wasteful option. But women still need coverage and support when they're wearing backless and strapless outfits. So after my own bad experiences with sticky bras and hearing friends complain and my sisters complain, I was on vacation in high school and said to my friend, "Oh my God, my sticky bra is falling off. They should invent sticky bras with replaceable adhesives." And fast forward 5 years, I was in college. I studied business and entrepreneurship at Brown University in Rhode Island. And I took an entrepreneurship course where we had to come up with an idea that solves a customer pain point. And I reached out to my friend Gabrielle, who I was on that vacation with, and I said, I know a lot of your ideas on your idea tab in your phone are mine. Which ones are mine? And she's like, the only one I remember is the sticky bra idea. So I pitched that to my entrepreneurship team of like 5 people. Thankfully, most of them were women. And we decided to pursue that for that class that semester, where we built a business plan based off this concept of sticky bras with replacement adhesives. And one thing that does make it a very attractive business model is this recurring revenue that you get from the replacement adhesives. So you have recurring revenue and customer retention from that aspect of it. So, it's comparable to the razor blade business model.
Yeah.
So yeah, I spent that semester working on it and then decided to take it on full time after I graduated. I was the only one who continued on the path. And I did some pitch competitions, won some money from that, did an accelerator program through Brown, and then moved home with my parents after I graduated and took it on full time. So I've been working on it since, and it's been great and super rewarding. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity. We had a speaker come to us at Brown, and it was like my first event through the Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship. And he said, if you want to start a company, start it when you're young, because you're taking on way less risk. The older you are, you have kids, you have a house, you're just taking on more risk. Where when you're young, it's kind of normal to live at home with your parents for a year or two out of college. You don't usually have kids yet. You don't have a house and a mortgage to pay off. So I took those words to heart, and it's been extremely rewarding, not just monetarily, because I'm not even monetarily successful yet. But just from a learning standpoint, there's so much to learn every day.
I love that he gave you that advice, and I wish I had had that advice when I was younger too, because I started my business when my kids were in high school, and so there is a lot more
But
risk.
it's never too late. Like it's
No,
not,
no,
I'm
no,
not
it
saying,
never is. But I love that you just took that idea and ran with it. Like that was a school project, but there must have been something there that really spoke to you and that fueled a passion in you to start this company.
yeah. So, I mean, Sarah Blakely, are you familiar with Sarah Blakely? She's the founder of Spanx.
Oh,
So
yes, yes, I'm
she had this
mhm.
idea to cut the feet off pantyhose
Yeah.
and like inspire women to like be confident in their own skin and wear whatever they want. And similar to that mission, that's kind of what Perkies is doing. Like women shouldn't feel when you're wearing a backless and strapless outfit, you need to be confident. And
Yeah.
then when that like one part isn't giving you that confidence, that's like ruining the whole look.
Right,
Confidence is like the
right.
sexiest thing a woman can wear. And without confidence, you just don't look as good.
Yeah.
So by providing them with a sticky bra that works and that doesn't fall off when you sweat on the dance floor, is allowing these women to wear outfits with confidence, buy outfits, that would require that. So it really is just, empowering women to feel good in their outfits and wear what they want to wear without any fashion restraints.
Yeah, and that honestly, you're so right when you say that confidence is the most important thing you can wear. I think that's so true. We talk on my show a lot about energy and that you give off energy and your energy enters the room before you do. So if you're, worried about, oh, how do I look? Or, you just give off this super self-conscious vibe, which then I think turns a lot of people off because they're like, what's going on there? So it's important to be confident. And there's so many cute dresses and styles out there nowadays that have like the backless look, but
All of
don't have
them.
anything built in up front. So it's like,
No.
if you want to wear all of that stuff, you have to find something that's really practical. And a lot of those things, I've had that experience too. I bought those things too. And like, I don't, mine didn't even really work once. So I don't, it must have bought
Case
like
in
a cheap
point.
brand or something, because it didn't work very well at all. So I know there's probably a lot of people out there who, maybe they have ideas and they want to start their company or they, what advice can you give to people who maybe they're like you, maybe they're always looking for ways to make things better, but they just stay in the shadows and they don't take a risk.
Yeah. So, I mean, alongside my mission of like empowering women to wear what they want, I also want to be a force of inspiration to female entrepreneurs, and show them like they can do this too. And, again, not everyone could move home after college. Not everyone has great relationships with their parents. And thankfully, my parents live, 40 minutes outside of New York City. So I'm very fortunate to be able to maintain a social life.
Yeah.
Um, but I do want to be a source of inspiration to female founders, current female founders, or aspiring female founders. But my advice to them is, if you have a great idea, go for it. We really were taught at Brown, like make sure that there's a need in the market. Um, they define entrepreneurship as solving a customer pain point. So like make sure it's really there is a customer pain point for the product that you're or service that you're solving for. They really like nailed that one into our heads. So I think doing a lot of like bottom up research is the coin term that my professor Danny Warshay always used. But like, don't go out to the market and tell them what they need. Have the market tell you what they need. So I always thought that was just like a really good point because a lot of people start companies, but they're the only one with that problem, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to like really have your finger on
Mhm.
the pulse of the market to see, is this really a customer pain point? Is the addressable market big enough? Even for me with Perkies, the initial sticky bra, it's tough because you're only really catering to sizes A, B, and C. Once you go bigger than that, the sticky bras don't provide you with as much support. Also, like nipple covers have become very popular. So since I've launched the bra, I've launched Perkies Petals, which are reusable nipple covers to cater to, I guess, all sizes. And then also Perkies panties, which are everyday use, way less niche than sticky bra use. I think that's also important to kind of see, complementary products, and maybe, one product could be like the gas behind the idea.
Right.
But it's nice to have complementary products that can kind of like help capture a broader market.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that it's important because you're offering people too, like a variety of products that can meet their needs. Because I'm just thinking about when my sister got married, we had to buy these bridesmaids dresses and they had the cross thing in the back. So you could not wear anything with it. And you either had to have them sew in the cups or you had to wear something. And so some of the women decided to have the cups sewn in and some did not. And when the cups were sewn in, you look like Dolly Parton. If Pardon me, and I love Dolly Parton, but you like the bust was so big wearing that and uncomfortable. And it just to me, like I'm like, this does not look natural at
No,
all. And it's really like uncomfortable. So it's nice that you have this product for women because I know I'm probably not the only person like you don't get to pick the dress you get to wear when you get put in someone else's wedding.
bridal parties are a really good market that I'm after.
Yes, I know because the brides are always like, "Oh, this dress is so cute and it's so this," but they don't have to wear it. And then when you have that issue going on as well, and you're like, "Oh, I have to find something that's going to support me," because me myself, I'm not like little in
Yeah.
front, I'm not huge, but not little either. So it is hard to find something that's like the right kind of
Like
support.
coverage support, but not
Yeah, yeah,
showing in the back and whatnot.
yeah.
No,
Is it
it's
going to be
definitely
chilly outside?
exactly. I know that too. Or like the silk dresses, forget about
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly, exactly.
it.
So, what are some lessons you've learned along the way while creating your company?
Ooh, I've learned a ton of lessons every day.
Yeah.
One that I'm experiencing right now is delegating work, and I'm like kind of a perfectionist when it comes to everything. So and it's hard because like I want things to be done a specific way, and if I offload it to someone else, I'm either like micromanaging the situation or I'm doing it myself. So one thing I'm like teaching myself to do is kind of like delegating different, the
Mhm.
email marketing and the Instagrams and whatnot, like
Exactly.
knowing that it'll all work out, even if I'm not crossing my T's and checking my or crossing my T's and dotting my I's. Um, and then also just not letting little things bog you down. Like early on in a startup, you'll have several failures or losses a day. As long as you focus on the wins every day, I think that's super important. That's kind of how we were raised, just always focusing on the good things in life and not letting little things get to us. I do think gratitude is the secret to happiness. So, as an entrepreneur, there's so many things to complain about, like so many. But instead, I really focus on, okay, even though that all went wrong, I did make a sale today. And that's great. That's so cool that I created a product that someone's buying and willing to pay X amount of money for. Like, it's so cool. And then also just like, yeah, like not giving up, not getting bogged down. Networking, I think that's huge, saying yes to things. Um, so many of my connections, whether it's with manufacturers or potential investors or customers, have come from connecting with people and networking. And this person connects you with so and so. And that's literally the name of the game as an entrepreneur. You probably can
Yeah.
attest to
Oh,
that.
yeah, for sure.
Um, but it's so important to be social, say yes to things, and network.
You brought up many points that I love. So I love the fact that you talk about learning how to delegate because that is super important. And we talk about that on this show all the time too. You can't fill anyone else's cup if yours is empty. And you're not really giving people the best of you if you're spread thin and you're doing every little thing. And that's a hard lesson because I think anyone who is determined, who strives for success, has that drive has a difficult time letting go of the power and letting go of just the control over what's going on. And that's it's understandable. It's your business, it's your brand, and it's representing you. So you want to make sure that everything's perfect. But yeah, there comes a point when you just can't physically do it all.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I love the gratitude part too, because I truly am a believer in that as well. And you're right. If you focus on the little things that go wrong throughout your day, it will it's going to cause you to become discouraged and maybe give up before you even get started. And I think a lot of people do that. That's one statistic I think I read a while back, was that business owners usually quit within the first 5 years, and it usually takes at least 5 years for most companies to even start to see some sort of success. So I think a lot of people quit way too soon.
Yes, and there's a stat, it's like 95% of startups fail, and I'm always like, do they fail or did the founder quit?
Right,
I'm
right.
like, what? Can we please see that stat breakdown?
Yeah,
But of course, it gets to a time where you can't sustain, if you have kids and whatever that might be. But I am curious on that stat.
I am too, because I really do think that a big part of it is that people quit right before they see their success. And I've seen that so often in so many different fields where people get so close and then they're like, I just give up. And you think about people throughout history who have been successful, they weren't always successful. Like they
No.
had to keep striving and striving to get where they were. What they talk about Oprah and how she was fired from a TV
Yes.
station. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people have failures. I think it's what you do with those failures, whether you let them define you or you let them teach you and become teachable and use that to move forward. So I love that you have the attitude of focusing on the wins. And I think that's so important. That is so important. To me, sometimes a win is simply that I remembered to do everything I was supposed to do that day.
Yes,
That's a huge win.
totally. And going back to your point about people often quitting like right before they see gold, there's a great metaphor analogy. I don't know if you've heard of, or it's like I'm trying to like the tale about the two frogs. Have you heard of this one?
I don't
There's
think
like
I
two
have.
frogs swimming in cream, and they're trying to get out. They're trying to get out of the cream. They can't get out. And one frog gives up and he sinks to the bottom. The next frog keeps going, and he churns it so it turns into butter. And once it turns into butter, he hops out.
Oh,
But it's like a cute
awesome.
metaphor. Like
Yeah,
if the other frog kept
definitely.
going.
If you had just kept going, you would have also been able to get out too. I
Exactly.
know. And I think it's so true though. I think that not just for entrepreneurs, but I think in our lives, I think people give up too easily.
Yes.
And if it's worth fighting for you, and you have to be the one that determines what's worth your fight and what's not. But if it's worth the fight, why give up? Why
Totally. And I do
go
believe
down?
in pivots. I think pivoting is like a good thing. And it pivots different from failure, but I do think it is important to kind of see other opportunities and not be super, blindsided or like have your horse blinders on just like this way or no way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do think like being open to pivoting too kind of goes into that not quitting category, and take what you've already learned and apply that to something else if that specific product isn't going your way or company.
Yeah, and there are companies who've been around for years and years and years who have to pivot sometimes because the market always changes. People's tastes
Exactly.
change and the needs change. You think about companies who didn't do that, like Blockbuster.
Exactly. The perfect example.
Yeah. Yeah, like everything's going streaming or going to video, like or going to rather streaming and shipping, like Netflix at the time, they were shipping their DVDs. It's like
Yes,
you've got to meet the market, and they tried to too late, but
exactly.
like, well, now you're not known for that. So you have to always, I think, be constantly looking for ways you can improve. And I think that's just a general rule in life anyway, is, always looking to seek improvement, self
Yeah.
improvement. And we talk about that a lot on this podcast. The people who are listening obviously do that because this is a self help podcast. So they're always looking for ways to make their lives better and to improve themselves. And I think that's just a perfect example. And I think, especially in business, you have to do that.
Definitely.
So, what's been the most fun part for you so far about
Ooh,
starting your own business?
that's a great question. There are a lot of fun parts of it. one of them I think that's fun is like going out with friends and going out to dinners is part of the job. Like I make sales at dinners. I get connected with like retailers at dinners and, whatever that might be. But I think that's just fun to like have a very social life and how like that social life converts to connections and sales and whatnot. So that's been cool to recognize. And then also the first time I launched my bras, so the bras took like 2.5 years to make. We were doing a share house in Montauk, and I walked downstairs and my 4 best friends were all like, "We're wearing Perkies." And it was just like one of the happiest moments of my life. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun things. I think learning is really fun, and creating. Just today, we launched Perky's panties, seamless underwear a couple of months ago, and we're only selling them online right now. And I was like, I kind of want to add them to retail. So I was thinking of different packaging, and then I realized I could use my Perky's Petals packaging. And then just today, I whipped up like a mock-up of packaging, a sticker packaging that we could put on the Perky's Petals packaging. Spoke to a few store owners that I know, got feedback on it, and like I'm gonna have those made. So it's fun to just kind of like have an idea one night and then the next day act on it and turn it into reality the next
That's
day.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And it has to be fulfilling to then see that from start to finish, and that you see it in the store then or see it online
Yes.
and go, oh my gosh,
Yes.
this is my thing. Like I did this.
Yes, just yesterday I was walking in town with my friend Gab, actually, the person with the ideas list. And she's like, "Oh my God, Perky's Petals." And I turned to my left and I was like, "Oh my God, Perky's Petals are in the window box of this adorable shop in town." That's
Oh my
so
God.
cool.
That is awesome. And like that must feel like is that like an out of body experience to like
Yeah, it's just
see
like,
that?
and some people probably think I'm like numb to it. I'm like, I am by far, every one sale is a celebration, like I get so giddy about the little things. And, as I scale, I hope I still get giddy about the little things, because that's kind of what builds up the bigger picture.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people who are in business who are really good at what they do, I think that that's the same way. I think they get excited still about every little thing because I think it's that passion that really drives you. If you don't have it, I mean, being an entrepreneur is such hard work sometimes that if you didn't have that drive
Oh
and
my
that
God.
passion, you would quit. You would,
If I didn't get giddy about the little things, there would be nothing to get giddy about.
So let's say we have some people out there who want to know more about your product and where they can order them, or maybe they just want to follow you because it sounds like you probably do a really good job with your social media too, and like keeping people entertained, which I
Yeah,
love.
so
I love following products like that.
no, the Instagram feed has been really fun to build. It's very bright and colorful and perky. So the Instagram handle is my Perkies, MYPERKIES. And then the website is perkies.com, PERKIES.com. And you could buy all of the products on the website. We also just launched a few of the products on Amazon, which you should be able to search typing in Perkies. Be sure to leave a review. Those are really helpful.
Yes, reviews are everything, guys. They really are.
Everything. And Amazon is like really strict about them. So
Yeah.
I can't tell you to leave a specific type of review, but
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, those, I guess, Amazon. And then if you ever see them in a retail store, no.
I'll be like, I know the owner of that company.
Yes, but yeah,
That's
the
cute.
Instagram, my Perkies, and the website, perkies.com.
That's awesome. So please go and check that out because I definitely want to go and look up more because I love that you just release seamless panties too. That's awesome.
Yes, they're
If you
great.
like to wear,
I'm wearing a pair right now.
especially with yoga pants. And oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's like all the rage right now too is
Oh, yeah.
everyone wearing yoga pants. So
I'm like,
that's
from biker
perfect.
shorts to bridesmaids dresses.
Yeah.
We've got you covered.
Yes, exactly. And that's important too, because there's nothing more embarrassing than looking at photos and like, oh my gosh, you could totally see the
Oh
outline.
yeah.
Oh,
No.
yeah. I have a very funny teacher story because during the day I'm a teacher as well.
Oh, I
And
love
one
that.
year I was teaching, um, and I came in, I bought a dress and it had like the built-in slip with it. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm covered, and I didn't have a full length mirror. I walk in and I look, and you could totally see the outline of my underwear. And I'm like, I cannot stand up in front of high school students teaching like this. So I
Your high
quickly
school
call,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I would have been like eaten alive. I call my coworker and I was like, have you left your house yet? No. Do you have a slip? Why? So then I had to explain this whole story. She comes in, luckily she rescued me with a slip, and she's dying laughing, like even before she sees me, because like I cannot believe you had to call me, because I
That is
lived an hour
amazing.
away from school. So I
Yeah.
could not go home
No.
and come back. So I was so mortified, and she laughed so hard. And she said, "Well, when you retire, I can't wait to tell this story at your retirement party." It's like, do not ever tell this story. And here I am
You're like,
telling
I'm
it
never
now.
gonna retire.
Yeah, yeah, do not do that. So yeah, I understand definitely the need for those products, and I think it's amazing that you started this company and at such a young age. I mean, that takes a lot of ambition and drive to do that, and it's tough. It's very tough to own your own business. But I know there's a lot of people out there who now might be listening to your story and say, maybe I can do this too. I have this idea, and so you're inspiring other women, especially. I mean, men too, but there's still a lot of need, I think, for women to step up
Absolutely.
in the business world, especially. It's still predominantly male. So we need you to shine your light and
I
to.
know. That's why I'm here on this amazing podcast. I love being able to have an outlet where I could share my hopefully inspiring words.
Absolutely. And there's probably a bunch of listeners who are going to immediately get off here and go check out your product, because I know as we're sitting here talking, I'm thinking about all of the times I could have used Perkies, and now even the seamless underwear too. That's like, those are great products, and it's awesome. A lot of those products are not even ever designed by women.
Well, that's the
Why
ironic
they don't
part.
work, right? That's why they don't.
Exactly. I know. It's like you're catering to 50% of the population. You want to make sure you don't neglect,
Right,
anyone.
exactly. Exactly. Well, it has been such a pleasure meeting you. This has been such a fun conversation.
So great
And
speaking
one
with
of the
you.
things I always like to do with our guests is put them on the hot spot, put them on the hot seat, and ask them if you have any words of wisdom that you could leave our listeners out there today who are listening to us. What might that be?
Yes, my favorite quote is opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. So always say yes to things, especially the dance floor, but just say yes. And you never know what doors are going to open or what one door might lead to, or what one conversation might lead to, or who it might lead to. So say yes, put yourself out there, be shameless about it. And that's how things will start happening. Make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. And, I love, like, don't be afraid, because people who criticize you are always the people who aren't doing anything with their
Exactly.
lives anyway. So don't be
Also, if
afraid of
anyone ever
it.
criticizes you, it's a reflection on them, not
That's
on you.
right.
Very important to
Exactly.
know.
And it's so important to remember that too, because I think so many people get bogged down by what other people think instead of going after what they truly want and doing what they truly want to do, because they're afraid of how they might look or how others might perceive them. So I think it's super important to remember that it is a reflection. A lot of people are just jealous because they didn't have the idea, or they didn't have the guts and the courage to go after their own dreams. And so they want to put other people down because that makes them, they feel like it makes them, brings them up and makes them feel better about themselves, but it actually does the opposite to me. I mean,
Exactly.
shows you who people are. But it's important to have a tribe who supports you, and it sounds like you really do. The fact that
I'm
your girlfriends
so
are,
grateful.
yeah,
My
that's awesome.
girlfriends and my sisters and my cousins, I think they have like all female cousins, and they are my biggest purchasers and my best customers, but also like outside of that, they're like my biggest supporters.
That's awesome.
Morally. They've been incredible. Like I'm so beyond grateful to be creating a product for my target demographic that I'm in. It's been really helpful and, comforting knowing that I have this army of women behind me,
Yeah. And
next
you've
to me.
solved your own problem. And it also helps ease the
Exactly.
problem of every other woman out there too, because I know there's a lot of people who had that same problem. So
Yeah, it is cool to be like peeling back the adhesives and seeing the fresh adhesive underneath it. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool.
yeah, like I came up with this. Look what I did.
Yeah. Wasn't easy, but I did it.
Yeah, I know. And not even just the fact that you did it and you designed it, but some people might even just stop there. Like, oh, I have this concept. And then they think about it and then they just don't do anything with it. So the fact that you followed through with it and
Yes.
because you had 5 people in your group with you at school and you were the only one who kept going with it. So you had that passion and drive all along. And I love hearing stories like that because that, it just means to me, I think, you're going to do very well and go very far in the future because it's an inner drive.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. But
Yeah.
the professor of that class in the beginning of the course, he said, a couple of companies have come out of this class and listed like 3 or 4. And I'm like, I want to be on that list one day. And I circled back with him and he said, I'm now on that list in the syllabus.
That's awesome.
I
That had
know.
to make you feel
Oh my God.
amazing.
And I'm like, goals accomplished.
You are a trailblazer, so that's awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing your journey with us. And I love talking to people who are very passionate about what they do because it shows and you really are helping women and just you being on here talking about your story is probably going to inspire other women to go and to follow their dreams. So thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. And it sounds I need to follow the podcast going forward, but it sounds like you provide tons of wisdom and advice to women of all ages. And I'm very grateful for that. People like you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, if we can change one life, then it's worth it. And I
Exactly.
love
Such a good
that.
point.
Yes. And the gratitude, you showing that for one sale and that's amazing. I love that. I cannot stress how important that really is in life to show that gratitude. So
Yes.
well, all of you go and follow her on Instagram and definitely go check out Perkies. I am going to have the links for all of the social media sites and her website in the show notes. Plus, she said you can go to Amazon too, but if you try them, please leave a review. Reviews are so incredibly important for us as entrepreneurs because that's what really drives whether they show your product at the top or at the bottom or not. So, when you're getting started that it's helpful to have those reviews and I just wish you so much luck and
Thank
success. I know you're going
you.
to have it. You don't need my wishing, but
Not true.
and
Oh,
thank
thank
you
you.
again for being here with us today.
Of course. Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you for being here with us today as well. If you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave a positive review from wherever you're listening. And again, you can leave me some stars on iTunes. That would be amazing. And don't forget, you can follow me on social media and you can work with me if you go to melissaoatman.com. Join me over on Patreon. I would love to have you. All of the links are in the show notes. As always, I hope you have a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.